Grandad and Charlie were at the skateboard park. There were slopes and curves made out of smooth concrete, and there were big kids whizzing around on their skateboards. They were doing tricks and even flying up in the air before they landed again on their skateboard wheels. "Why have you brought me here, Charlie?" asked Grandad. "I didn't know you liked watching the skateboarders." "Oh, I'm not bothered about them, Grandad, but I thought this might be a good place for you to have an adventure," chuckled Charlie. "Eh? What do you mean, Charlie?" said Grandad. But before he could get an answer, Grandad felt himself move slowly forward. Charlie had got behind his Grandad and was pushing him towards the edge of the slopes. "What's going on, Charlie?" asked Grandad. "Don't worry," giggled Charlie. "You'll see." Then, with one final push, Charlie sent his Grandad down the slope and into the maze of twists and turns that made up the skateboard park. "Ah!" screamed Grandad as he picked up speed. He whizzed past all the other skateboarders with his hands up in the air, and they all jumped out of the way. He was terrified and screaming at the top of his voice. He thought he was going to have a crash and fall out of his wheelchair. Then, after a while, he started to enjoy it and began to laugh. "Wow, this is fantastic, Charlie. I've not had this much fun in ages." Charlie laughed as he saw his Grandad start to do tricks. He was spinning around at the top of the slopes before whizzing down the sides again. At one point, his wheels left the ground altogether and he was flying through the air. Now the other skateboarders were pointing at Grandad Wheels as he showed them how to do it. After he watched his Grandad for about 10 minutes, Charlie said, "Come on, Grandad, it's time to go." Grandad Wheels just didn't want to stop, but he knew they'd be in trouble with Granny if they were late back for lunch. So he did one last trick turn in the air before landing with a bump on the path that led to the ice cream van. "Wow," shouted Grandad. "That was the best adventure ever." Charlie laughed and gave his Grandad a high five. "I knew you'd like it," said Charlie. "Now you don't have to be bored. We can have adventures whenever you want. I can't wait to tell Granny what we did." "Ah," said Grandad, "I'm not sure that's such a good idea. Maybe Granny wouldn't be keen on the idea of me playing in a skateboard park. Let's just keep it to ourselves, eh?" Grandad winked at Charlie and said, "Come on, let's finish these ice creams and then head back."